So I actually didn't spend any money on this project. I had this wood lying around. They're 1x2 pieces. You can choose 2x2, but again, this is just what I had lying around. The first step is to go ahead and cut them to length, however long you'd like your hanging arm to be. I chose 12 inches. I then ran out of wood, so what I did was grab a 1x4 I had lying around as well, ran it through the table saw to cut it down to a 1x2 like the others. I had enough wood for the top and bottom piece, but I needed more because, as you'll see, I created an angled support arm in between the two pieces. Next, lay your top and bottom piece together like this, and then lay your support arm at the angle roughly where you think you want it to be and make a couple of marks. Take it over to the miter saw, move the miter saw over to a 45-degree angle, go ahead and make your cuts. The reason it doesn't have to be super precise is because as long as you have a 90-degree angle between your top and bottom piece and then cut to 45 degrees on the support arm, it'll slide up there at some point and sit flush. All I'm doing here is creating my second support arm, since again I did build 2 of the hanging arms. But the next step, once you're happy with the length and all of your pieces, is lay it out as shown. Grab some screws, and once you do select the screws, as you see I picked 1 inch, lay them on the arm before it's screwed together, just to make sure that it's not going to go through the wood once you do screw it in. Once you're ready to put the arm together, this next tool you see me using is a jig that I bought a few years ago, and it's just proven to be super helpful. As you can see, it holds the pieces together perfectly and allows you to drill a lot easier. What you want to do next is drill a couple of pilot holes. When you're working with wood this thin, it's very easy to split, so you want to make sure you get a couple of pilot holes in first. Next, I'm using this countersinking drill bit to create a couple of pockets for my screw heads to go down into that will essentially hide them completely. So as you can see here, the screw heads are down, hidden below the surface of the wood. A couple more pilot holes for my support arm. I chose just to do 1 screw on each of these. Now once your arm is put together, you want to take some wood filler, as seen here, and fill in those holes that you countersunk your screws into. This step is completely optional, but I choose to also put some wood filler in all of the seams where the wood comes together. Once the wood filler dries, of course give it a light sand. Next, I want to put in a couple of holes where I'm going to eventually mount the arm to the wall. Again, with thin wood, you want to make sure that you minimize the chance of it splitting. Throw on a light stain. You can of course choose to paint it. This is the stain that we have for a lot of the wood in the room where the arm's going to be, so I chose to match the stain. I chose to drill a couple of small pilot holes and just use some simple screw-in hooks to actually hang the plants. Anchor it to the wall and hang your plant.